Hi everyone! Welcome back to my podcast. I'm here with my mom.
Hey,
Hey!
my day is kind of okay.
Okay, that's good.
Well, it's a Sunday, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like you don't have much to do, and I just wanted to get some steps in and play with the dogs and just kind of chill. Went through my closet, so yeah, nothing exciting.
Alright, okay, cool. So, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about stigmas and stuff like that with mental health.
Put your face at the mic.
Oh, sorry.
She's learning, guys. Okay. So, do you want to start us off with one of your stigmas?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I can start us off if you
Yeah,
want.
you start us off.
Okay. So, I've compiled some stigmas about bipolar disorder. And. Okay. The first one, people with bipolar are not stable enough to maintain relationships. I know plenty of people that have bipolar disorder that are in very healthy long-term relationships. I don't know, this stigma I feel like affected me when I got back into the dating pool until I met someone. Um, a lot of people would like ghost me after I brought up the fact that I was bipolar because, they'll just say that'll end badly. Like I literally had someone on a dating site tell me that'll end badly when I told them about my mental health struggles. I don't know, I just feel like you have to be really far detached from reality to think that people with bipolar just can't function in any relationships.
I think that it's just so easily stereotyped. I
Yeah.
mean, I was in the store yesterday waiting online to purchase something, and the cashiers were behind the counter joking around that so and so was bipolar. It's just the fact that it's like a joke. It's like people just throw it around like it's no big deal. And why they do that is because they're uncomfortable knowing what it really is. They don't like talking about it or knowing the facts.
Yeah. I don't know, I just feel like growing up, people would just talk about George's weather as bipolar. I don't know, stupid everyday shit that it gets brought into. It gets thrown around so much.
But on the other end of the spectrum, when you talk about depression,
People don't take it seriously either.
people don't take it seriously. They think that you could snap out of it or
Right.
that you're making it up or that it's
Right.
not real
It's like with any mental health. What's the word?
condition.
Any mental health condition. People don't take it seriously.
Until it affects your life in some way, shape, or form, no, they don't take it seriously at all.
Yeah.
And people who have never experienced it or lived through it can't possibly fully understand it.
And that sucks because, like, growing up, I didn't think it would affect me in the long run, like the traumatic childhood and everything. But now, as an adult, I'm seeing how it affects my day to day life. And I can't picture myself without all the struggles that I go through every day and just the shit that I have to do to keep up with my mental stability. Because
Yeah.
it's not easy and it doesn't come easily. if you, if you if you hear my mom's stomach noises, just don't mind that.
I had weight loss surgery.
Okay, you already talked about this on the last
Well, I'm
episode.
just saying, like a year and a half ago, I'm just saying one of the side effects or aftermaths is my stomach just talks a lot. So,
Okay,
sorry.
well, her stomach's gonna keep talking.
I can't control it. I'm sorry.
It'll weigh in. Haha, you get it? Weigh in. But
Yeah, okay.
alright, so do you want to share a stigma with us?
Well, I mean, it's not so much even a stigma. I think I just started talking about it, as far as the depression aspect of it, and also it's kind of the same of anxiety as well, because people think that you're exaggerating it or that,
You can just get over it
yeah, exactly.
and just ignore those anxious thoughts and feelings. but
Right.
You can't.
Right. And so, with depression, anxiety, stuff like that, people think that it's like a weakness,
Yeah.
like that you're weak for not being able to, overcome it or let it go or
Right.
whatever the case might be. And
But I think it makes you stronger.
yeah, but you know what? I think that there are so many people in this world that go untreated for all of their diseases or conditions because of the stigma attached to it. And that includes bipolar, that includes ADHD, depression, anxiety, because people think you're crazy.
Right.
People think you're crazy. I know for a fact, this is just throwing something else in there. My son was diagnosed with ADHD when he was in second grade. I think he was like 6, almost 7 years old. And this is also back in the early 2000s. But, the thought of putting a kid on medication, first of all, was like, oh my God, no, no, no. And then it becomes, you're a bad parent. It's, it's because you don't parent him. That's why he's wild. That's why, And so people just make judgments. And so it comes to a point where you don't want to tell anybody what's going on because they're going to judge you. And so a lot of people probably have never treated their children for ADHD or whatever the case might be because of the stigma that's attached to it. And I started worrying about all this stuff with him because, you realize that your kid's getting treated differently because of what they have, quote unquote. And that wasn't fair.
Yeah.
And so, it's just the whole stigma. It's just people don't understand it, so they judge it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you, as a person, whether you have that ailment or your child does or somebody you keep it to yourself and you don't talk about it because people are judging you and pointing fingers at you and telling you you're weak and that you can snap out of it. You could just choose to be happy. Right. I mean, all of that stuff that is it's out of your control.
Right. And there's so many people that go without a diagnosis that need help and they just don't because they're afraid of judgment and afraid of talking about it. But it's okay to talk about it.
So can I tell you some of the stuff that I kind of pulled?
Oh, of course. Go ahead. She has her Pinterest board.
My little Pinterest board. But anyway, so this little thing that I found, I have 3 of them. But anyway, there's probably millions out there, but this was just like a 5-second search.
I gave her homework.
Yes, she did. They did. Anyway, so mental illness. And so they have a column that says stigma and then the column right next to it that says reality. Right? And so the stigma for mental illness, and this is just a global mental illness. It's not specific for one specific illness, but they're incapable. The person is incapable of doing things. Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned that kind of like with the bipolar and stuff like that. So you're incapable of having a relationship or whatever.
Right.
But the reality is it's valuable because you bring something to it that's different. And
it could be a tool.
Yeah.
And you have so much more experience in tuning in with yourself. So, I don't know. I feel like having experiences with dating, having bipolar, it's just making me realize that I need to put effort into my communication because that's really important.
Right.
And a lot of the times I just don't communicate what I'm feeling because I don't know what I'm feeling. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't even get into dating. But anyway, so again, stigma, unreliable. Reality, complex.
Yeah.
And it's true because you know what? People that struggle with different mental illnesses, because that's what it is, or condition or whatever you want to call it, they are complex because they have to learn how to deal with things differently than the mainstream folk do. So it's just a little bit different.
The mainstream folk.
Whatever. Anyway.
If you really think about it though, the mentally ill is the mainstream folk because... Her stomach. Good God.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't know. I feel like more of the world has mental illnesses than not.
Yeah.
Especially in today's day and age with technology and social media, just everyone is depressed. Everyone is like, I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. So stigma, unproductive, where the reality is trying not to give up.
Yeah.
You could have days where you're totally you want to isolate yourself and
you don't even want to get out of bed.
Right. And so you're unproductive and you're lazy because the next one's, oh, no, I said unproductive.
Yeah.
Okay. Lazy. Anyway, and you're just struggling to just keep it together,
And you're trying your best and sometimes your best doesn't look like a lot at all.
Right. Exactly.
And that's when the judgment comes in.
Stigma. Attention seekers.
Oh, so true. I want all the attention. That's why.
Reality is need understanding. And that's, again, true because you know what? You feel like if you're talking about your depression or anxiety or bipolar or whatever it may be, you're looking for attention, but really you want people to understand where you're coming from. And you want people to understand that, you know what? Maybe I'm different, but I'm normal, and so I deserve to be treated as such just like you do.
Right.
Stigma. Crazy or dangerous? Reality, just a normal person. And that is true because people will always say bipolar. They kind of also say bipolar or schizophrenia like they're the same thing, which they are not.
It's totally different.
But they clump it all together because, again, they don't understand. So they judge and they make jokes and they talk about things that they don't understand.
Yeah.
So, stigma, burden to society. Well, that's a little bit strong,
So
but
true.
whatever. And the reality is going through a difficult time. And that is also true when you think about it. Depression comes in waves, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you can have years that you're fine, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, kind of hits you up. And
Right.
it can cripple you, Same thing with anxiety. And everybody has different outlets for their anxiety or whatever the case might be. Like, I suffer from anxiety, and when it's really flaring up, I can't breathe. I
Yeah.
feel like I can't get air in my lungs, and I just need to breathe, and I can't. So, that's when I know that I'm really getting anxious about something.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even know what I'm being anxious about, but
I have that same exact experience, especially after I got out of Ridgeview. I was trying to breathe so hard, like I literally felt my lungs. It felt like my lungs were bare because I was trying to breathe so hard, but I couldn't get the breath in my lungs.
yeah.
And I thought I was literally dying.
Well, when I was younger, when I started experiencing this, again, this is back in like the 90s, so we're talking years ago, and nobody talked about this kind of stuff, right? And I went to several doctors because I couldn't breathe, and I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me, and I was worried.
Were your parents worried?
I was an adult, but I
Oh.
wasn't,
Yeah.
like I was in my young 20s,
Right.
you know? Um, and I went to several doctors, and nobody could find anything wrong with me. And because there wasn't technically, because it's in your head. And then finally, one of the doctors was like, "That's anxiety," And I'm like, I felt so relieved that it was something.
Yeah, you got an answer.
And I got an answer, and I wasn't dying with this weird illness that was going to suffocate me to death. But again, it wasn't so, like, it wasn't the first thought. Like today, you would automatically think, that's anxiety.
Right, yeah.
Like, you've had different symptoms, and I'm like, that's anxiety.
Yeah. Like my heart
Like
palpitations.
your heart palpitations. I'm like, it's anxiety. And she winds up going to urgent care in the hospital and everything like that. I'm like, it's anxiety.
Getting EKGs because I literally think I'm having a heart attack.
And meanwhile, I feel like this horrible mother because I'm just telling my child, it's anxiety. Just stop it. It's anxiety.
Stop it. You don't need to go to the doctor because of heart palpitations. Just
It's all in your head. So, that's another, I guess, bad trait or whatever you want to call it, because for people that do know, then we assume
that everything is
everything is in your head. So meanwhile, something true could be going on, and I'm going to ignore it because I'm thinking you're just,
I just have a hard time figuring out what means what because my body has so many different weird reactions to anxiety.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be something like so out of the ordinary and then I'll think I'm dying, but then later find out that it keeps happening and so it's just anxiety.
Right. Yeah. I would say that the breathing is the only thing that really, but then again, there are so many symptoms, and I didn't print that out, of like high functioning anxiety. That is not necessarily like what I'm talking about. It's like, insomnia. Wish I would have pulled that up, but there's so many different things that, what does high functioning, I can't speak. Oh my God. What does high functioning anxiety look like? And again, it's so many different things that you would never think is equivalent to anxiety, but it is,
And it looks different for everyone.
And it does. So you can't just write stuff off for people because, first of all, it's not fair. It's not the right thing to do. And everybody is different, and everybody's mental health is different.
Yeah.
And so,
Also, I think that's why so many people go misdiagnosed because there's just so many different there's so many different weird symptoms from just things that are going on in your brain that I don't know, I feel like psychologists and psychiatrists have a hard time differentiating all that, but
Well,
I mean that's their area of specialty, but
you know what? I'm sure there's a lot of commonalities that they're able to, but it's always made me wonder, like, especially with Tyler, when, he was first being diagnosed with all this stuff, because, when you're trying to assess a mental illness, there's no real test for it.
I wish there was. That would be so much better.
I know. But so you're going, and because he was a child at the time, they would give the parents and grandparents and teachers like assessments that you would literally check off boxes if he was doing certain things. And then I guess, compiling and, averaging out the answers, you come up with what you think the diagnosis is. And even when we were having him diagnosed for bipolar, but that being said, how do you really know? I could be lying on those assessments, or
Yeah.
I could have a different perception because it's very subjective.
Yeah.
And so,
And I feel like a child that young, like,
It's just so
they're developing and they're growing, so obviously some behaviors are going to seem weird. It doesn't necessarily mean they have a mental illness.
right. Well, he did.
Well, yeah, obviously it does. Can I share a stigma?
Sure.
Okay. My next bipolar stigma is that people with bipolar shouldn't have children. While I was doing my research and looking at articles for this episode about, the common misconceptions, turn your damn ringer off, girl. Your phone is right next to the microphone.
I threw you off, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all good. I grew up with a verbally abusive father, obviously, and he has bipolar. He never took medication, so therefore, shitty dad. I'm not saying medication fixes everything, because it doesn't. In most instances, Jesus, you fucking gave your non-speakedness to me.
That's not even a word.
Exactly. In most instances, that is not the case, because in order to maintain a healthy relationship with your mind, oh my god, you kind of have to, be doing constant work on yourself. I don't know. No one's gonna show up for you if you don't show up for yourself. Now my stomach's making noises. You're, giving all your ailments to me.
Sorry.
I don't know. I've always wanted to be a parent. That's something that I'm really looking forward to, and it just hurts that people think that it's not possible if you have a mental illness. It's hard, because you're trying to take care of yourself, but then suddenly you're taking care of a whole other human being. That's a huge adjustment, and I don't know, I hate that gets categorized like that, because I'm excited to be a parent, and I don't want to be stigmatized as a bad parent because of what I have.
Right, right. So while they were chatting, I just did a quick little...
Yeah, if you heard her typing in the beginning.
Sorry, high-functioning anxiety. And there's so much out there, but I'm just going to read real quick a few. So, how it looks like to others. Hardworking.
Pablo, get the fuck out of the way. I cannot breathe in Oh. Pablo, I'm sorry.
You're so cute. Sit down. Go get your brother. Okay, so what it looks like to, the outside world, that somebody is hardworking. But what it really is the fear of failure.
Yeah.
How it looks, that the person's helpful. They're people-pleasing, and that is not good.
Yeah, and you burn yourself out.
Right. How it looks, the person's active. Why? Because they have difficulty turning themselves off. Their mind, everything.
Yeah.
Detail-oriented to the world is an overthinker to us with anxiety. Hello!
So true. She just raised her hand.
I raised my hand. I am the overthinker queen.
You are.
And
Learn
it's
from the
really
best.
disgusting. Anyway.
It's really disgusting.
It makes me sick that I overthink the way I do. But anyway. Okay, so what it looks like to others, that they're organized. It's a need for control.
Mm-hmm.
It's the need to feel in control of something. So they organize.
Because you don't have control of anything that's going on up there.
Right. They look to others as a perfectionist. And it's really the fear of blame and criticism.
Yeah.
Lord, do I know that one. You're a yes person. That's for the fear of saying no. And again, there are so many of these, I'm not going to read anymore, but you get it. I'm just saying that high functioning anxiety, when you're doing some of these things, like being overly organized or, being proactive in things or active, sometimes it's not healthy. It's not that, you look at somebody, you want them to be active, you want them to be, fit and going to the gym and stuff like that. But some people take it too far and have a sick obsession or whatever the case might be. And that is, again, the person that you're looking at, oh my God, I wish I could go to the gym like that, but to that person, it's like just a thing that is driving them through their brain, and it's anxiety.
Yeah, and I think if they don't do it, that they're not going to be
fail.
Yeah, successful for the day.
Yeah.
And that's why, I don't know, that's why I find myself pushing me to go to the gym every day. Because I have been, but yesterday we went, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I took one day off this week, and that's it. But...
Well, maybe take today off. It's almost 4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Forgot.
So, going back to mental health stigma.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. So, this is something that you may hear somebody saying when you're talking about your mental health issues. And it's like, everyone has anxiety and struggles with depression. It's all in your head. That's the way they minimize it or, belittle it or try to shove it aside. That, again, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Why can't you just be fine? Cheer up. You get enough attention already.
So true. I don't know. People just think that it's all for attention, and I don't get that, because why would we put ourselves through that?
Right.
It's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean you can't get out of bed? It's not like your legs aren't working. I mean, first of all, if somebody said that, that would be horrible. But second of all, I mean, come on.
It's like saying to someone with depression, just don't be sad.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Just don't be sad. I mean, it's really easy, actually. I think we just solved mental illness right now.
Yep. Therapy and medications are just scams. You don't need all that. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't know what would happen if I went off my meds now. Probably nothing good, so I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yeah. You know, I've been on the same shit for years, and
Your body's just adjusted to it.
yeah, I don't know what I don't know what I'd be like without it, and I don't want to because I cried a lot.
You did.
I still do. Well, no, not as much.
No, because I remember growing up when you said, like, you got your medication adjusted, and you were like, I started noticing myself not crying as much, and I did too. You stopped crying as much. You used to cry, like, every day.
Well, my life kind of equated to crying every day.
I know.
I had a miserable.
Yeah, you did. But now you don't.
I know. All right. Oh, here's one. Go to the gym. Wash your hair. You'll feel better while you're in it. Stop thinking so much. Okay. Let me just tell you. I'm going to jump in on that one real quick.
Okay.
All right. I'm an overthinker. Okay. And I hate it. I really honestly do. Believe me, if I could stop it, I would.
Exactly.
But you know what? When I get to my overthinking, yeah, it makes me a little bit crazy.
And your brain's just wired that way. You can't stop that.
And I can't help it. I'm also a person that, for many, many years, I was stifled. I couldn't speak my mind or say what it was on my mind or whatever the case might be. Just like my stomach. And, and, you know, I got to a point now where if something's on my mind, even if it's an overthinking thing, I'm going to say it. I'm going to speak it because I'm not keeping it inside.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be even worse for me because it eats you alive if you don't speak it.
Right.
So, and those are the types of things that people stop thinking so much. Oh my God, you can't do anything about it, so why worry about it? That's the future. It hasn't happened yet. Don't worry about it. Or, you know,
anxiety is literally the fear of the unknown.
Right.
That's what it is.
And so it's like, don't you think if I could, I would?
Right?
I mean, do you think I want to be in my head like that?
That would save me from, like, so many friendships being lost and relationships. It's just,
Sucks.
overthinking ruins literally everything.
You dissect everything the person says to you. You can read between the lines of everything.
Like, lines that aren't even there.
And, well, usually they're not there, and if not, you know what happens then? Because you put them there, you kind of make it come true, unfortunately.
And then they start to resent you.
Right, and it definitely becomes an issue. There's no two ways about it. You have to, in that regard, you have to be with the right person that's going to understand and respect it and give you what you need so you don't overthink.
Yeah.
Now, I have yet to find that person, but I'd like to think at some point.
It's also
they're out there.
About, like, compatibility in that aspect, because if someone has never been with someone that experiences severe mental health issues, it's a really big adjustment. And I don't blame a person that has never been exposed to that before, because it is a little crazy. Like, looking at it from an outsider's perspective, we sound a little crazy sometimes, like, all the time.
And the thing is that everybody deals with it differently.
Yeah.
Some people completely self-isolate and cut themselves off from everything and everyone. And you as an outsider are kind of like, that's not healthy. Don't do that. Let people in, you know, stuff like that. But to that person, they just need to be alone and go through their shit in their head alone. And other people, you know, want people around, or, you know, again, everybody's different. So until you know that particular person and how they respond to their own issues, you know, you got to let them call the shots, really.
Yeah. I feel like that is such a hard pill to swallow, because for a long time I would just give people advice thinking that, oh, you take this and you'll be fine. And it's just like, that's not how it works, because what I do for my stability isn't going to be the same as somebody else. Right. And it's stuff that I do isn't going to help everyone. That's just not how it works. My journaling isn't going to help everyone, and some people just, they have other outlets, and that's okay, because you have to communicate what those outlets are.
Right. And again, everybody's different. That doesn't make any way right or wrong.
Right.
You know, so if I do it differently than you do it, you're not wrong, I'm not right. And
yeah, we're just helping ourselves. Why is my stomach talking?
I don't know, because it wants to be friends with mine.
Yeah.
So I just have a few more, and again, these are real short ones, but other people have it a lot worse. Now, that one I always love too, because you know what? You could be sitting there sad and depressed and stuff like that. And, you know, people are like, well, that one has cancer. And, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yes, there are a lot of people that have things a lot worse off than you. Well, you have 3 kids. Yeah, I know. I'm blessed. I get it.
Hashtag blessed.
Yeah, I'm hashtag blessed, man. I mean, hashtag,
Hashtag
don't blink.
Wow, I cannot believe that just happened.
But that still doesn't make my life roses and rainbows or whatever, because I still have shit in my head. And sometimes I do get resentful that I myself can't appreciate all the good that I do have, because I know I have a lot of good.
Yeah.
I do have 3 wonderful children. I have a wonderful career. I have my own home. I came out of a 20-year narcissistic abusive relationship and I'm thriving. I mean, so there are so many things that I know that I am blessed for. Oh, and you know, just try and exercise or do stuff like that, because that is so. And you can just choose to be happy. You know what? Yeah, to a certain degree, there is some validity to that.
Mindset.
It is a mindset. And every day, you know what? I wake up and I'm like, today's going to be a good day. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a positive attitude and optimistic. I mean, I try to be that the glass half full person. But you know what? Some days I can't be. Some days I am all about, fuck you, glass. And I'm going to spill the water out so it's freaking empty.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, that's just the way I want to be.
And for a long time, I would go into days with, like, quote-unquote positive mindset. But that's just not a thing. You have to go into it with a realistic mindset. And because when you're going into something with a positive mindset, like, sure, you want to be optimistic about something, but you're only setting yourself up for failure, because sometimes things aren't going to work out in your favor.
Right. I think, you know, yes, being very realistic about a situation. I do believe in, I guess, wishing for the best and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So that kind of is a blind optimism, because you really don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Right.
And then you go into overthinking because you think about why it may go wrong.
And then it's a spiral.
And then it's a spiral. It just, I have to learn myself to live in the moment and not worry about the future.
Yeah.
And live in the moment, meaning also like not read between the lines of things that just happened 2 minutes ago. Yeah. Or, you know, because God, that's so
Or just
hard.
making up fake scenarios in your head, things that haven't even happened.
Well, you know, I was listening to something earlier, and, you know, like, let's just use dating and shit like that as an example. And texting, right?
Yeah, okay, I listened to that one too.
And, you know, the fact of the matter is you text somebody and they don't text you back. And so your immediate response and reaction, at least as a anxious overthinker, is, you know, oh my God, they don't like me. Oh God, what did I do wrong? What did I say? And you scroll through the past text messages. What the fuck did I say? What did I do?
Overanalyzing,
you know,
everything.
And then you read like what they last wrote to you, and you're like, that's it.
That's it.
They're done.
We're done.
They're done.
Never talk to me again.
I am not good enough. I am not worthy. I am not all the I'm nots.
Yeah, and the bad self-talk comes in, and that's also.
And then what happens is, 3 hours later, now this isn't healthy either, though, so don't take it at that. But 3 hours later, what happens is you get a response text, and, oh, okay, I'm good now.
Let's go back to it.
So you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're fucking crazy.
It drives you fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to go with the flow and be cool about it. Yeah, it happens the next day.
Yeah.
And, you know.
You just can't control it.
Yeah, and it's horrible. So that person that's not texting you back, if they're worth anything, really, and they would want to know how their reactions make you feel, right? And then they would want to try to make changes to meet you in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's going to be accessible 24/7 to respond to a text immediately. Yeah. I get that. But that person should make efforts to kind of know that you're crazy. And,
just a little bit.
And try to offset that crazy by being more responsive,
yeah.
you know, or
and
being
validating.
Yes.
And that's something that you have to communicate at the beginning of when you're starting anything, like even a friendship. Just say, I need that validation, because if I don't get that, I'm gonna overthink and think that you hate me.
Right.
And it's not like I don't need to constantly just send me a message, be like, okay, I'm busy today, I may not get to my phone and message you back, just wanting to let you know, like, have a good day, I'm thinking about you, just something like that.
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, or as long as you know, and once you get to know the person better, it's easier.
Yeah.
But when you're in those beginning stages or whatever the case might be, that's when it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're looking to, you don't know where you stand with that person. So you make up all sorts of crazy scenarios in your head, and it's not healthy at all. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for what you're projecting onto that person.
Right.
Because them not responding could mean absolutely nothing, and
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with you. But in your head, you're spinning it to be, it's all me all the time.
Yeah. I just have to kind of shift my mindset on that because I always think, it's all about me. And it's like not. That's where my narcissistic tendencies come in, just always thinking that whenever I text them, oh, they have to text me back. And always like looking for my notification. It's like, that's not realistic. I don't do that for anyone. Why do I expect people to be focusing on me the way I don't with anyone?
By the same token, I don't know. This is something that, I wish I didn't do either. Like if that person texts me, I immediately respond.
Yeah. That's why
Like I am so accessible, and that is so not cool.
Right.
And whatever. But I want to also add, though, that if you do tell this person how you feel and they continue on the path that they are, that is them choosing to disrespect you or to ignore your boundaries. Or I guess that's not really a boundary. It's kind of more...
You communicated what you need.
Yeah, and they're
they
not
weren't
respecting that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's disrespect.
It's frustrating because also sometimes they think that they're doing the right thing, but they just don't see how it's not enough. And that's also another thing with people that just have never been exposed to it. Just you have to get used to that constant validation that people with trauma need.
And not everybody is going to be able to do that for you.
Right. It's compatibility.
Right. And if that person doesn't have the proper bandwidth or whatever to meet you where you need to be met, then they're not the right person for you.
Yeah, and that's okay. That doesn't mean they're a bad person or anything.
No, not at all.
It just means that they're meant for someone else, and so are you.
Right. Hey, everybody's fucked up in some way.
So true.
So, you know what? Just because, I'm fucked up a little mentally doesn't mean that somebody I meet isn't going to be fucked up in some other way,
Yeah.
And we all have baggage. I mean, especially when you're in your 50s, you really have baggage.
It's 50
you know
years
that
of baggage.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, look at it this way, too. Like, I was cheated on my entire marriage. I have yet to be in any sort of real relationship since my marriage ended. I have yet to really find out how I'm going to react when it starts to become serious. Am I going to be able to trust this person? I mean, this person is going to have to give me a lot of validation to make me feel secure.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to that person to a certain degree because they didn't do anything wrong, but it's the baggage I bring.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah. It is what it is.
I think I'm going to have that tattooed on me.
You should.
It is what it is. No, I think I'm going to have my new life motto tattooed on me.
What's your new life motto?
I want to live while I'm alive.
So true.
And that is a quote from Bon Jovi. So.
Wow. You can be twins with me. I have my Taylor Swift quote on my left arm. Oh, wait, do you have the lotus flower on your left arm? Oh, it's on your right. Okay.
Nice. Why? What does it mean?
Because I put mine on my left arm, my Taylor Swift quote.
Oh.
So you can put your Bon Jovi quote on your left wrist.
Well, I got to get my arm.
Oh, you have the butterfly there.
I have the butterfly here. Breathe.
Yeah. Breathe.
And I want to get my arm tattooed. So...
We're talking about tattoos like they can see it.
Yeah, I was going to say, fun side note. I always wanted a tattoo, but I never got one. And so for my 52nd birthday, my other daughter bought me, or got me, or paid for, however you want to call that, my first tattoo. And my first tattoo is a lotus flower and unalome symbol, I guess. And what that basically means is, the lotus is like growing out of dirt, out of mud. So it's basically you're coming from like the sludges of the earth, and you're break into or you grow into something beautiful. And unalome is all the crazy twists and turns of life on your way to enlightenment. And so it's really about coming out of an abusive relationship and just kind of finding myself. Or trying to find myself, because I'm still working on that.
It's a never-ending process.
Yes, exactly. And then growing from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway. So, first tattoo at 52, and then on my 54th birthday, which was last year, I got my second tattoo, which represents my 3 children. And it's 3 butterflies on my ankle. And then, when you got your first tattoo...
Yeah, that was in when?
June. I got my 3rd tattoo, and now my birthday is August 31st, and I want to get, on my 55th birthday, I want to get my 4th tattoo.
Yes, and I'll get one with you.
There you go.
I just have to figure out what I want.
And also, I got my nose pierced when she got my first tattoo.
Yes.
So, I'm going through my wild youth in my old age.
It's a quarter life crisis.
Quarter life? I'm 55, man.
Mid?
Okay. Awkward silence.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
What
Your
my stomach just
does.
did. No, you know what? I think that we talk about mental health and we talk about, how important it is and how, the thing is that everybody carries things differently. Everybody reacts differently. And you know what? No matter what, and this is, a common thing, you never know what somebody's battles are. You
Right.
don't know what people are going through. And the only thing that you can do is be kind to them, try to be understanding to them, try to respect what they're asking for. I mean, sometimes it's hard and sometimes you don't understand and sometimes you want to tell them to shake it off or,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, but that's not for you to decide.
Right.
That's their life and their story and,
And if you truly care about them, you'll stick around.
right, exactly. That's the whole thing. You know what? Even if they shut you out and shut you down, you know what? If you care, you stay.
Yeah.
And you try to fight to let them know you care. And you know what? Even if they don't want you, they'll still know in the back of their head that you were there.
Yeah.
And that's that is the most and the best at the same time. The most you could do.
Yeah. That's true.
So just be kind to everybody you meet.
Yeah.
Be nice. Be sweet.
Be a good fucking person.
Yeah, really.
Don't be a
good fucking
dick.
person. Yeah, don't be a dick. Dicks suck. Well,
I can say that, not you. Anyway, you know what I'm excited for?
what?
School!
Okay,
I
yeah.
start school tomorrow.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
I'm so excited. Anywho,
Anywho,
is there anything else you want to add?
no, just that our dogs are so fucking cute.
They are. Oh
They
my god.
are like the best dogs ever.
They're little black and white cookies. Pedro is laying on the bed right now. Where's Pops?
He's on the floor.
Pops is on the floor. Pablo.
Pablo and Pedro. Pedro's looking at me right now.
Hey, Paige. They have so many
Okay.
nicknames. Poppies, Pops.
Pablio.
Pablio.
The
Pages.
Popster.
The Popster.
Pedro. And Pablo is Pablo Dunkin' Donuts. And Pedro is Pedro Derek Shepherd.
They have the weirdest fucking names.
Well, okay, so I'll tell you what, the Pedro thing, we rescued him and he came with the name of Pedro. And we were like, oh, we're changing that, right? And so, because it just was weird to us anyway to have a dog named Pedro.
Yeah.
So Kai at the time was totally obsessed with Grey's Anatomy.
Like, peak
And-
quarantine.
So, well, we got him during quarantine.
Yeah, I mean,
So anyway, they suggested we call him Derek Shepherd. And so
we tried that.
we tried, but ultimately he was Pedro.
He's Pedro.
So he became Pedro Derek Shepherd because we incorporated it all together. So when we got Pablo was also at a shelter and his name was Duncan. So of course we knew going into it that we were changing his name right away because we had Pedro. We knew we wanted to name him Pablo
They have,
because
like,
they would be
corresponding-
brothers,
yeah,
Pedro and Pablo,
corresponding names.
and they're both black and white and they look like brothers. So they had to have the P and P names.
They're so fucking cute.
They are. So anyway, because we changed his name to Pablo, he is Pablo Dunkin' Donuts. There you go. That's the history of our dogs' names.
We've had some weird fucking dog names. Hobo.
Hobo.
That's it.
Well, Frankie.
Well, Frankie's not weird.
No,
That sounds like a dog.
Yeah. Well, Hobo was named after the original Hobo, which was my dog growing up.
And then, didn't we have a cat named Oreo and then
Yes.
Greg, like, killed it or something?
No, he...
Didn't you bring it to the woods and, like, never...
No,
came back?
I think he did that with my mother's cat. I
Oh
will
my
never
God.
know what he did with Patches, was the
That's
cat's
so
name.
sad.
He just disappeared one day and I never knew and I never asked because I didn't want to know what he did with him. Because it was my mother's cat. My mother died. Oh, God. How horrible.
That's like how he bought a car with her money.
Let's not go there. Yeah, my my inheritance from my mother. Oh, God. Anyway, Oreo we had for 6 years.
We did?
6 years. Yeah, we got Oreo right after we got married. Like,
Wow.
literally, we had him in 97, and we returned him in 2004.
You returned him to
No,
where? The
well,
forest?
okay, this is the story I'm told. We got him in New York. There's this place called Bidawee. It's kind of like a shelter kind of place. Anyway, Bidawee. We got our cat from Bidawee. So 6 years later, allegedly, he brought him back to Bidawee.
No, the fuck he did not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They wouldn't take a cat back. Would
6 years later. How horrible is that? We have him for 6 years and we give him back. That's horrible.
That's so
it's like having a
awful.
6-year-old child and saying, see ya.
Oh my god, that's so sad.
It is sad.
Wait,
I feel so horrible.
Why did you have to get rid of him?
Because he was traumatized because we moved him around too much. We got him when we first got married. We moved him to Florida, then back to an apartment in Hauppauge. Then we went from the Hauppauge, we went to the Holbrook house, from the Holbrook house to the Lake Grove house. And in the
Wow.
Lake Grove house, I don't know if you remember this, but in the basement, there was like a hole, like, it was broken up into little rooms, and there was a hole in the wall, and he went behind the wall.
I do remember
And
that.
your father was trying to get him out.
Did he get stuck on the wall?
And he got out and he started running around shitting everywhere.
Ew!
It was like spraying everywhere. And all I remember was we were upstairs and your father was down. All I heard, because the washer and dryer was down there, was like bang, boom, bang. You know, because he was hitting him into the dryer and washing machine. It was metal.
Oh my god! He was...
I don't know if he was beating the cat. I don't know if he was
What
just
the
struggling
fuck?
to hold the cat. I have no idea. I don't know. So I'm not
Canceled.
saying he was beating the cat. I'm not saying
Sure
that.
hope not. That's awful.
But anyway, that's when he basically took the cat out of the house and then said he was taking him to buy it away. I don't know what happened to the cat.
I really don't think. Hey, I bought this cat 6 years ago. Can I return it? Do you have a receipt?
No. Oreo was so cute too
I
until he
know.
went psycho.
Well, black and white.
Yeah, he was black and white too.
We love our black and white pets.
Yeah, yeah. But then, yeah, poor Patches. Don't know what happened to that cat.
Didn't we have a fish? Or Tyler had a fish with the Elmo?
We had a fish named Dorothy. Dorothy is Elmo's fish. Yeah.
Didn't it die after like 2 weeks?
A day.
A day.
It died after a day.
That's so sad.
We got Tyler the fish, Dorothy, because Emily was being born, so we wanted him to have something to take care of.
Oh.
That didn't last very long.
Yeah, a day.
A day.
Good for him.
Yeah,
He
killed
did
he killed poor Dorothy.
That must be a record.
Yeah, well, you went through fish too.
Oh my god, yeah. In like 7th grade. Because the fair came to town and suddenly you can get fish
For
at the
free.
fair for free. So I would play these freaking games
To get
and
fucking
get fish.
free fish.
And they all died. Like the next day, they all died. And I think that it was just because they were fair fish.
Yeah, but then we decided, oh, we got to go to PetSmart or whatever and get more fish.
I got a 10
And we got to buy a tank. And we got to buy SpongeBob under the sea shit.
That was so cute though.
Yeah,
Gotta
cute.
admit.
I'm like, I'm not helping you with these things. If they die, you're scooping them
How
out
did
and
I
flushing them.
pay for all of that?
I don't fucking know. I don't remember.
How? I don't remember. How the...
I don't know.
Did you give me money for my fish stuff? I don't think you would have.
I don't think I would have either, but I don't know.
Weird. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I think we've talked enough, right?
I think we've talked a lot, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about finding stuff to add because we talked a lot.
Yeah. I always run out of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Anywho,
All right. Well,
I haven't been posting episodes the past few weeks, but I'm getting back on track. And now, I'm going to have... What day should I set that I post podcasts? I'm going to say Sunday.
Sunday's a good day.
Yeah, okay, Sundays. So, I'll see you guys... No, you won't see me. You'll hear me next week. Sunday. And when are you going to be back, Joe? Mom?
I don't know. When do you want me back?
I don't know. Next time I need you.
Okay.
Just...
Well, many your many fans don't like your mother.
I don't have many fans, actually.
Okay, well.
No fans. Okay. Love y'all.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Bye.
Bye.